let us see what is beta oxidation. Beta oxidation is the metabolic process of breakdown of fatty acids to generate ATP. Fatty acids provide highly efficient energy storage, delivering more energy per gram than carbohydrates. During the process of beta oxidation, the long-chain fatty acids are broken down to acetyl coenzyme A molecules, which subsequently enters the TCA cycle in large quantities for further use in the ATP synthesis process. Beta oxidation occurs inside the mitochondria in eukaryotes and in the cytosol in prokaryotes. But in order to be available in the cell cytosol or inside the mitochondrial matrix, the fatty acids must first be transported into the cell and then into the mitochondrial matrix. This transportation requires activation of the fatty acid chain, which enables it to bind to a special transport molecule called carnitine. Once inside the cytosol, the enzyme fatty acyl coenzyme A synthase, which in short is called FACS, adds a coenzyme A to the fatty acid chain, converting it to acyl coenzyme A. If the acyl coenzyme A is short, it can freely diffuse across the membrane, but if the acyl coenzyme A chain is long, it binds with the transporter molecule carnitine, forming an acyl carnitine chain. This binding is facilitated by a special enzyme called CAT1 or the carnitine acyl transferase 1. After that, the acyl carnitine chain is received by the protein carnitine translocase, which is situated on the outer mitochondrial membrane. Carnitine translocase is a transport protein bound to the outer mitochondrial membrane, which transport the acyl carnitine chain across the mitochondrial membrane. Once inside the mitochondrial matrix, the second enzyme, carnitine acyl transferase 2 or CAT2, receives the acyl carnitine chain and removes the carnitine molecule from the acyl coenzyme A chain. The carnitine molecule is transported back across the membrane, and the acyl coenzyme A molecule is ready to undergo the actual beta oxidation process. The beta oxidation process happens in 4 simple steps. In the first step, the enzyme acyl coenzyme A dehydrogenase oxidizes the molecule of acyl coenzyme A into trans-2-enoyl coenzyme A. In this process, it removes the hydrogen from the second and the third carbon, and a molecule of FADH2 is produced. In the second step, the enzyme enoyl coenzyme A hydratase adds a molecule of water across the double bond to form 3-hydroxyacyl coenzyme A. In the third step, the enzyme 3-hydroxyacyl dehydrogenase again removes the hydrogens from the third carbon to form beta-ketoacyl coenzyme A. And in the process, a molecule of NADH is produced. The fourth and the last step is called thiolytic cleavage. In this step, the enzyme beta-ketoacyl coenzyme A thiolase cleaves the terminal 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme A group and forms a new acyl coenzyme A, which becomes 2 carbon atoms shorter. After the enzyme beta-ketoacyl coenzyme A thiolase cleaves off the 2-carbon terminal acetyl coenzyme A molecule from the chain in the fourth step, the remaining acyl coenzyme A chain again re-enters the beta oxidation process at the first step and repeats the cycle until the last remaining 4-carbon acyl coenzyme A is split into 2 molecules of 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme A. This 4-step cycle of beta oxidation will keep on repeating until the entire fatty acid chain is systematically cleaved down into 2-carbon acetyl coenzyme A molecules. Now, if we look at the total energy yield from the beta oxidation process, and if we suppose that the fatty acid is palmitate, which is the most abundant fatty acid in animals and which is a 16-carbon fatty acid chain, so a 16-carbon fatty acid chain will undergo 7 rounds of beta oxidation process. So from 7 rounds, we have number of acetyl coenzyme A molecules produced, 8. And as each complete round of the beta oxidation produces 1 molecule of NADH and 1 molecule of FADH2, number of NADH produced 7 and number of FADH2 produced 7. So the total energy yield will be, or in other words, the total number of ATP produced will be, since one molecule of acetyl coenzyme A produces 12 ATPs, 8 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will produce 96 ATPs. And since one molecule of NADH produce 3 ATPs, 7 molecules of NADH will give off 21 ATPs. And since one molecule of FADH2 produce 2 ATPs, 7 molecules of FADH2 will produce 14 ATPs, which makes the total ATPs produced 131 ATPs. And if we discount the 2 molecules of ATPs used up in the process of the formation of the acyl carnitine chain and its transport across the membrane, the net ATPs gained from the whole process of the beta oxidation of a 16-carbon fatty acid chain is 129. So, if we look at the energy yield in the terms of ATPs per carbon, the beta oxidation of fatty acids yields more energy than the metabolism of glucose and protein.